Good morning and welcome to Saturday morning cartoons. I've got my I've got my I'm Babylon sweatshirt on today because it's a rainy, it's a drizzly day at the moment. Let me just do this. It's a drizzly day at the moment, and I just got back from a walk. Uh, Constance says that I should uh, do something funny for Saturday morning cartoons. Uh, well, I will. I will. I'll do something a little strange. Uh, anyway, one of the funny things, because she said you got lots of funny stories about your life and and everything. So I'm going to tell you one story, and I'm going to play one of my earliest recordings, records that my partner Charlie D and Milo. Okay, we were songwriting uh, a duo in the late 1960s, and we recorded with the Epic label. Now that's that sounds fancy, and it was fancy actually. We recorded at a big Studio A. It's CBS right there on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. We made two singles and an album, and we did assorted other side studio work and other artists recorded some of our songs, including Johnny Rivers sang one of our songs on his homegrown album and asked that we and our then band be the backup musicians and vocalists on that. So it was an exciting time, and it started around I think around 1968. Uh, Charlie and I were playing at just a cocktail lounge. Okay, just a straight, lame kind of cocktail lounge. We sort of dressed in late 60s hippie attire, and we sang our own songs. Okay, uh, but it was lightweight enough, and we had a little fan base, but mostly of middle-aged and late middle-aged professional people that came in to get swackoed after their day at in the office. And one evening, as a matter of fact, this was after Constance and I had dropped out for 6 months in Southern Oregon, and we just came back down to Southern California just for 2 weeks so I could play in some saloons and get enough money to build our little second house at on the property we bought there in Southern Oregon, right along the Illinois River. We were hippies, and we wanted to go back and be hippies. Okay, but in order to do that, I had to make a little money, and uh, uh, my old partner Charlie and I could do that in saloons. Okay, it didn't take much to buy lumber, uh, and we were pretty good. Okay, uh, but the night before Constance and I were to return to Oregon, the bus was all loaded up and everything else. Uh, I mean, our van. I had a VW van then too. Uh, Two producers from CBS Records uh, came in to celebrate. One of their artists had just celebrated their second gold record in within 90 days, and it was the Spiral Staircase. You'll recognize their song, and they were celebrating. They went out to eat uh, with their wives, and afterwards they came in to hear us. They got drunk. They got so drunk we sounded good, and they uh, uh, asked if that was our original material, and we said, yeah, yeah. And so they said, come to CBS and make a demo because we think we'd like to produce you if possible. Come to CBS and make a demo. So, I mean, they got so drunk we sounded good. Okay. Uh, but anyway, I postponed our trip back to Oregon. Indeed, we never went back because uh, the demo was immediately picked up by other co-producers at CBS, and we were off. We made the demo worked. They signed us to a contract for two singles and an album, and we never went back to Oregon. I'm telling you all of this because it is a funny story. Uh, because just think of this, kind of two hippie songwriter guys, okay, and we wrote uh, sort of edgy love songs and quasi politically conscious kind of material. You know, our heroes were Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie and so we were that ilk, but we were also pleasant. And anyway, so uh, we did a demo of a few songs, and one of the songs was called Back Bay Blue, which literally was a throwaway song that just featured our harmony more than anything. It wasn't a big, heavy, message song or anything else. It was just a song that we would do at the club because it really highlighted our vocal skills. Okay, uh, but they did. The producers, Sunny Night was the main producer, said, "Sunny Night, isn't that Hollywood?" Okay. Um, he said, "Just leave it to us. Okay, I'll hire your backup band, and we'll do it." They had to do it in Studio A because it was a 26-piece orchestra. We had no input whatsoever on the arrangement or anything else. Okay, we were two stoner hippie guys, okay? 26-piece orchestra. Now, in the orchestra were the best studio musicians of the day. Today, you look back, just Google the Wrecking Crew. Well, the Wrecking Crew was among that 26-piece orchestra. Hal Blaine, Joe Osborne, Hal Blaine on drums, Joe Osborne, and Larry Knechtel on keyboard, and we had no idea what it was going to sound like. Okay, and we were still stoner guys. The only reason that we were musicians is because it felt so good to play music when we were stoned. But the stonedness came first, okay? Our love of the feel goodness, and I mean lightweight stone, hashish, marijuana, and Charlie drank a lot too. Uh, but anyway, we get to the studio and playing the guitar, the guitar that I would have normally played when we did it in the club, was a then very busy studio guitarist, a studio musician. He went to like 5 sessions a day, okay? And it was a young Glenn Campbell. Nobody had ever heard of him outside of the studio musicians circle. And it was just months before he became a superstar of his own. But I'm gonna play a cut here. Uh, the opening guitarist is Glenn Campbell, okay, who at the time nobody had heard of. And we went, oh my God, what have they done to our music? And they did about, I think, a total of 5. Uh, Touch Me With Your Hazel Wand was one of them, but The Hour Before the Dawn. This one, Back Bay Blue. Oh, and a couple others. Uh, they were really cool. Touch Me With Your Hazel Wand was, I've traveled very far to sit here at your feet, to ask your favor to make my life complete. Touch me with your hazel wand. Fill my life with love. Take me from darkness into light. That was the refrain. Shit like that. Okay, hippie, acidy kind of shit like that. And what they chose was Back Bay Blue and The Hour Before the Dawn. So arise and wake with me, and I forget what that was. But anyway, released it as a single, went to #1 in like 6 markets across the United States. We Were Hot. Recorded another single, The Word Is Love, went to #1 in even more local things. If you're old enough, you probably would remember the songs when you heard them. But those studio songs weren't us. And we said when we make an album, okay, it's just going to be us. And if we use any other studio musicians, we'll pick them, okay, because we want to sound like us. But okay, here is Back Bay Blue, BLU. The song, the throwaway song that we just did to give give the drunks a vocal thrill. No meaning whatsoever. Can I play it for you? I got my computer here, so you're not going to hear it very well, but you can look up Back Bay Blue on YouTube or so. You can still find it. But here it is, and listen to the opening guitarist, because it's Glenn Campbell. That's Charlie. All the other backup vocals is me. Here comes Hal Blaine. And there were that many strings. Okay, this is before there was a lot of overdubbing. No bridge, one verse. Okay, that is what they did to our song. Ah, stop, Glenn, stop. Anyway, that's what they did. You know, it was very nice. Okay, the arranger was David Angel. Okay, that was the conductor. Okay, it literally was. And Studio A, you could put the New York Philharmonic in Studio A at CBS. But anyway, that's my Saturday morning cartoon. Uh, uh, our album did well enough, okay, but obviously, by the album came out in 1971, and so we did lots of uh, we traveled around the country covering our single hits. Like every place that went to number one, there's um, someplace in Ohio and Denver, Salt Lake City. Every place it was played, it went to number one. In a couple places, we went to Denver to play a concert. We opened for somebody else. Forget who. But anyway, when we got off the plane and into the car going to the hotel, there were at the time two AM stations in Colorado, and our driver was punching back and forth between both stations, and our single at that time, the single was "The Word Is Love," was playing on both of them simultaneously, which was wow. Okay. And anyway, and so how old was I there? I guess I was 23 years old, 22, 23 years old. Uh, but that eventually didn't pan out, obviously. Uh, Gee, I shouldn't have rambled on. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you Google Charlie D and Milo, and Charlie is spelled with an EY, Charlie D and Milo, you can hear our entire album, I believe, on YouTube somewhere. And then the album, you can hear more mystical songs like Om, Sweet Om, and uh, theme from Mount Oread, which is sylphs and gnomes and undines and salamanders. And it's a more spiritual thing. Uh, Now recently I've been opening up and I've been trying to share what I do with you every morning, uh, which is later in the day posted on YouTube and stays there forever. But I got a little spooked when Facebook said we're only going to keep your videos up for 30 days. And so I'm so happy that Arcanum Luminarium uh, Facebook's excuse me, YouTube's my talks every day, and they stay up forever. But it kind of spooked me, so I opened up a Substack account, and I'm trying to share lots of stuff that I do here with you. Like to copy it and share it on Substack too, and so I'm opening up, and I'm reaching some people that just don't like Facebook. Okay, and so I'm new to a lot of new people every day, and more every day. And I can tell by the comments, that, well, they enjoy it and everything else, but they're saying, who the fuck is this guy? Why does he think he can, speak on these subjects and stuff like that? And uh, you know, he's sort of like a car crash. As you can't take your eyes off. He's kind of a car crash, but I can't look away. Uh, but anyway, for those people who are new to me and wonder what the where I came from, I'm going to share something with you. I hope I don't take us too long. Um, but this is what I wrote for my upcoming book, Homemade Magic. I say upcoming because years ago it was published by Llewellyn, who allowed it to go out of print. And the good folks at Schiffer snatched it up immediately, actually, and are going to do a wonderful new edition with exciting new material and everything else. But this is what I wrote. Because whenever I go on an interview or something, they always say, tell me how you got into all of this. Now, it is an interesting story, okay. But I've had to tell it so many times that I forget what I've told them and what I haven't. So it gets weirder and different every time. This is sort of the stock thing. I was born July 11th, 1948 in Long Beach, California. I moved with my parents and older brother to Columbus, Nebraska in 1956 and returned to Southern California after high school graduation in 1966. 10 years, and I did a 10-year sentence in Nebraska. I became a professional musician at the age of 14 and made my living as a songwriter and recording artist through my mid-20s. I've been married to Constance since 1967. We have one son, Jean-Paul, who teaches at a university in Macau, China. At the time here, I said Japan because that's where he was when I wrote this. I speak English and the only tiniest fragments of French and Spanish. This means that my entire education, magical and otherwise, has been acquired from texts written or translated into the English language. I quit college. I was pretending to be a drama major. Actually, I was a drama major. I was just pretending to be a student, okay? After only 1 year, and studied acting for a short time at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in Hollywood. I hold no academic degrees. Do you hear me out there? If you can bestow honorary degrees, I'll take them. Okay. I'll appear on Zoom to accept them if you want. Okay. Well, maybe all of them. A series of psychedelically triggered mystical experiences in 1966 through 1971 led me to seek preliminary yoga instruction. And I also dabbled in various meditative techniques and practices of Eastern mysticism at Paramahansa Yogananda's Self-Realization Fellowship and the Vedanta Society. From 1971 to 1975, I studied via correspondence course aspects of the Western mystery traditions through the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, the Builders of the Adytum, BOTA, and the traditional Martinist order. Around this time, I became passionately interested in the works of Aleister Crowley. In 1975, I met Grady Lewis McMurtry, also known as Hymenaeus Alpha 777, and his then wife, Phyllis Seckler McMurtry, also known as Soror Meral. I always pronounced it Meral, okay? Meral, okay? Who initiated me into two of Crowley's magical organizations, Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, and AA. Before Crowley's death in 1947, the McMurtrys had both been disciples of Crowley. Grady had received the OTO's highest initiatory degree directly from Crowley in England, and Phyllis had been the personal student of Crowley's acolyte, Jane Wolfe. The McMurtrys, in turn, introduced me to Francis Israel Regarde, the former secretary to Crowley, and a celebrated occult author in his own right. In 1976, I was passed into the next degree in OTO in Dublin, California. So just like 9 months after my Minerval, I took my first. Assisting the McMurtrys with this ceremony was Helen Parsons Smith, another Crowley contemporary, and the widow of both Wilfred T. Smith, the former OTO North American Grand Master, and John Whiteside Jack Parsons. Parsons had been an eminent rocket scientist, a developer of jet-powered takeoff and solid rocket fuel. He was one of the founding members of Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the forerunner of NASA. This brilliant magician scientist was posthumously honored by the Space Agency for his contribution to the space program by having a crater on the moon named for him. In 1978, I was authorized by Grady McMurtry to establish and operate a lodge of OTO in Southern California, and I remain its lodge master to this day. Well, technically I'm the lodge master, and technically we still have the lodge, but the pandemic necessitated our activities as an active lodge, and we have since moved from Southern California to Sacramento. So in 1996, I was appointed U.S. National Deputy Grand Master of OTO by McMurtry's successor, Hymenaeus Beta. Throughout the years, I have supported myself and my family in a number of ways. I was a singer-songwriter and recording artist in the late 60s and early 70s, and afterward held a string of low-paying positions in manufacturing, property management, and advertising, all which allowed me quite a bit of flexibility to pursue my personal magical studies and practices. In other words, I was pretty much a bum that I love studying magic. In 1988, Constance and I initiated Dr. Christopher S. Hyatt into our OTO lodge, and over the next few years, he and I collaborated on a number of writing projects that opened up an exciting new chapter in my magical and professional life. So there you have it. In the last 50 years, more my homemade magical career has included a lot of work with various spiritual disciplines and systems, instructors, and magical orders. I will be the first to admit that I have been very lucky, and my experiences are most likely very different than your own. But you'd be gravely mistaken if you believe that because my life and background are in some ways different from yours, it means you, oh, if it means that just because my background's different than yours, it means that you're somehow at a disadvantage in your work as a magician, you're wrong. Like it or not, the cards you've been dealt in life make up exactly the hand you need to play. To be a magician, you do not need to be a personal student of an adept. You do not need to belong to any magical order or society. You are and always will be your own universe. You are a homemade magic school with one teacher and one student. You are an entire mystic order of your own. And even if someday you happen to come under the tutelage of some great master, even if you join and become an adept of a powerful occult order, you will still be facing exactly the same obstacles, challenges, and bullshit you are facing right now. You will still be required to do all the magic yourself. You will remain forever a solitary practitioner. This is not to say that all of us are not influenced and affected by others, or that our actions, thoughts, and behaviors don't affect our environment. If other people are healed or gain a level of enlightenment as a byproduct of your self-realization and self-transformation, that's great. But ultimately, you are a solo act. And your temple, your workshop, your laboratory, and your universe is your own body, your own brain, and your own soul. Doing magic is not what magic is about. The goal of magic is to be a magician. And the only thing a magician can actually change with magic is the magician. Okay, well, I went a little long. If you see this in repeat, maybe you can just power through the music if you didn't enjoy that. But otherwise, if you did enjoy it, Google around on YouTube and find Charlie D and Milo and see some of the rest of our early material. Well, that's it for today. I hope you heard everything okay. I'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.